Hey everybody, welcome on Facebook, welcome on YouTube. I am Deborah Westbrook. It is Wednesday, December 5th. Have you ever heard the statement, as above, so below? It's called a Hermetic Principle. We're going to talk about it today. It's not cliche. Once you grasp the foundational reality of this statement, you'll see that your life is going to change. You are entangled as a fractal of God in this time. You did not start here, you don't end here. And knowing that means that the manifestation of your life is so important to be creative and authentic. It's not a good meme, it's not a good bypass, spiritual bypass. It is reality. And it has its foundation in what's called Hermetic Principle. So stay with me. We're going to talk and you're going to leave encouraged. I'm in California today, and about 7 hours north of here, we had that tremendous earthquake in Humboldt County, which is close to Eureka. Now, in California, when you have an earthquake, a lot of times, wherever it is in the state, depending on how close it is, you can feel it. Sometimes you'll be sitting on the couch and you'll feel this shift occur. It's like the longer you hear, the more that you know you're hearing these things and feeling these things. So I send all my love and energy to that area of the country, because the aftershocks after an earthquake like that, if it's 7.0, which the Loma Prieta earthquake years ago in Oakland, you're going to get aftershocks that are pretty detrimental to your house, to your whole being. So let's get started. So as above, so below. What does that mean? Well, let's look at it. It's a Hermetic principle. It shifts perception, because you're a fractal of God in time for such a time as that. It shifts your perception away that everything you need is within you. You are in perfection right here, discovering your divinity in your humanity. And in doing that, you realize you have no need ever for an external savior. This has been created in religion and in other entities such as government and tech that want to show you that they can save you and take your vision and your perception going outside yourself rather than looking at what is within. It is time, in this time, it is time to manifest a life, to manifest a creative, authentic life as we have been flowing from the essence of our being. There's no other way to say it. You know, I mean, who are you? Do you ever ask, who am I? Do you ever ask deep in your being, what am I here for? Do you ever ask, what am I called to do here? There's a purpose that you're here, and everybody's is different. And when you realize that Hermetic principle of as above, so below, it tunes you into yourself. So there's a simplicity in oneness and wholeness. It's not complex. There's so many belief systems out there that are complex that make you look outside of yourself for an answer. But when you look at the Hermetic principle of as above, so below, you really start looking within yourself. And sometimes that's hard because we've been taught to not trust ourselves. We've been taught to believe that everything we need is outside of ourselves. We've been taught to live in fear. So when you start really looking and start asking yourself questions inside, don't be surprised if you don't get answers at first, because many of us don't really know who we are, and we're on a journey of discovery. We're coming out of a narrative into the wholeness of who we are. So as above, so below, as a Hermetic principle, it's deep, profound truth that when grasped internally forms a beautiful foundation within your life, and in which you live, move, and have your being. Once you understand your being, and that is to be still and know, then you live and move. You detach from certain things in your life. You have other things in your life that are brought in. But the essence is that you are seeking divine authenticity in time. So I am brilliant, as are you. This is not a statement of a New Age statement. It's not a statement that's just cliche. It is true. As you increase in awareness, you increase in light. That's why even Jesus said, I am the light, and he meant you're the light. So as you increase in awareness, you increase in light. When you increase in light, you access higher dimensions of reality that are here right now for you to access. It's not going somewhere. They're here right now. And we're living in a narrative that seems at times to be controlled. And many of us don't know it. So we live our lives according to what everything and everybody says outside of us rather than flowing through. But once you grasp as above, so below, it changes your perception. So let me give you a little bit of a background for those of you who don't know. I was led to intuitively teach this because I was watching something and I knew that when this speaker mentioned Hermetic principles, my intuition hooked into it. I began to study it. I've looked at it a little bit before, but it is profoundly life-changing, and it is spiritual truths that have lasted for thousands upon thousands of years. In fact, it started with the ancient Egyptians and the Greeks, who realized that all outward manifestations of the universe were under the influence of an ultimate guiding reality. What do you call that ultimate guiding reality? Do you call it God? Do you call it Source? Do you call it the cosmos? Who to you is the ultimate guiding reality in whom you are entangled and one with? So the forces follow of power and passion flowed from the ancient Greeks and the ancient Egyptians. And these were the home of the mystic and wisdom teachings. So behind all the principles of manifestation, they said this ultimate guiding reality, which I agree with, is the logos, the word, the supreme vibration. So why not we just call it the all? Let's not lock the divine mind into a specific category based upon a religion, based upon a belief system, because the divine mind, source, is greater than all of that. So the Hermetic principles called this ultimate guiding reality the all. I like that. And from the all, everything emanates. As the all brings forth humankind, we are entangled within a constant cycle of evolution. We're always changing. We're not supposed to live according to a timeline of being born and dying, and we only have so much time while here. You're supposed to live in your divinity, in your humanity here, and it changes everything about your life. So evolution means that as an entity, as the creation of the divine mind, as the fractal of God, I level and ascend. I personally believe we don't ascend into another place. We ascend to what's already here. I believe, but that's a whole nother discussion. I believe that because we see a very limited portion of the electromagnetic spectrum of light, we are limited to this realm. And as we ascend, as we go greater in light, greater in our evolution, we begin to see things and time seems to stand still and we enter other realms. This is reality, and it's a glorious reality. So you didn't start here. You're not going to end here. There's no way. And all is connected as one. So I personally believe to ascend, let me repeat this again, simply means an increased awareness of light, which opens the door to what is here now. Not to go somewhere, not to even die and come back. It is to constantly ascend into different realities. But for right now, you are here, and you're not to take it for granted. You're not to downplay it. You're not to live in fear. You are to know that you are divine. Yes, suffering comes. Yes, confrontation comes and challenges comes. But you're not to fear any of that because you have selected to come into time for such a time as this. So let's talk about where did these Hermetic principles come from? Well, there was a gentleman, some say he existed, either some say that it's a little bit more nebulous, called Hermes Trismegistus, and he dwelt in the land of Egypt. They believe he was a contemporary of Abraham, who Abraham acquired mystic knowledge from him. Christianity was not the end-all, be-all. It didn't start everything with Christianity. It will not end everything. It's just one belief system that when practiced mystically, not fundamentally, When Christianity looks at Jesus as an ascended, beautiful example of quantum spiritual truths, you detach from Western fundamental Abrahamic religions and you live your life according to beautiful principles of ascension. So this principle, Hermes was known as Thoth to Egypt and as Hermes to Greece. The Hermetic Principles, which there's 7 of them, I'm just going to look at one today, are to be found in all lands, among all religions, but never identified with any particular country or with any particular religious sect. And you can read a book called The Kabbalion, which will just blow your mind. So I deconstructed from all the religion, but I didn't deconstruct from the essence of God within me. I didn't deconstruct from the fact that the reality of Jesus was not portrayed as he was meant to be portrayed. So let's look at the statement, as above, so below. There's always a connection between the various planes of being and life. Everything is connected. Science shows that to be true, and spirituality shows that to be true. That's why the integration of science and spirituality bursts you into the essence of your I am. When you see how these two come together, you see that the divine mind shows us within the exact physical realm the beauty of who we are in time for such a time as this. As above, so below. As below, so above. We're entangled in God as the manifestation of God in the earth today. So there's a connection, and separation only exists in our perception. Why? To keep us within a timeline of control in this perceived reality. Do you really believe someone wants to allow you to see that you're powerful? I doubt it, because control never gives power. Control through any entity, whether it's religion or whether it's government, the main focus of control is to bring you down into less than who you are. But when you lift your perception, you start to define yourself as a new way in time. I'm experiencing this right now. And it's not through a perceived standard of trying to impress someone, trying to be. I am constantly checking in with myself. What does that mean? As above, so below. My reality in time means that I let some things go and I let other things in. I believe we are all in a moment in time where we don't really want to go back, but we don't really know how to go forward. And that's a good place to be, because it's easy to connect with what has been, to create something and just give it a new name or give it a new focus. But it's the same old, same old. We are in a shift of a timeline such as never been. And that's a whole nother story. So we live in a timeline from birth to death. That's what's locked us into a lower, denser energy. And everything in between is based on fear and comparison, or success, or what we have to do to achieve an identity. Go to school, get a degree, buy a house, get married, have all those things. Yet that is not right for everybody. It may or may not right, but when you ascend above that timeline, you come back into timeline with an awareness of just flowing in your I am essence. You learn things about yourself that the world does not want you to know. It's very, very powerful, but it's all done in love. You say no in love, you say yes in love. You never deny who you are. And you don't have to prove it to anybody. There is a peace that comes upon you as you flow in the energy, the true energy of love and joy. So Jesus modeled this principle along with many other spiritual leaders. He flowed in an awareness which was flowing from his intuition and synchronicities from a higher realm of existence, not set apart. He never came to be a savior. He came to show us how to live, move, and have our being in God, not negating a way to get out of here or a way to fulfill an agenda, but to flow within our intuition. If you look at his life and really look at it outside the context of religion, what you see is that he totally flowed in a very unique way. He wasn't just based upon a belief system, that belief system in him of his connection, of being a fractal of God, being one in God, flowed in his life, in his movement. His actions manifested his belief. And people, we need that. Manifest your life. Don't let tech and scrolling constantly leave you in comparison. What are you called to manifest from the passion? Are you called to travel? Are you called to write? Are you called to be a doctor? Are you called to be a professor? Are you called? What are you called to? And it could be a variety of things, but each thing that you do, because actions speak louder than words, will flow from the essence of your being. Yes, we sometimes have to do things that are just methodical through the day. But I'm talking about even maintaining joy in those things with the sheer knowledge that you're in time for such a time as this. So once you realize you're free to be you, you're not waiting on any savior, however it comes to complete you. So there are planes beyond our knowing that we are connected to. One is not orphaned here on this planet, not knowing the journey. Neither is one scripted to fulfill a certain agenda. So you're not an orphan. You're not placed here without a knowing. You have to discover yourself. But neither is your life scripted in any way saying you have to do this to achieve this. It's a free flow that flows in your intuition. And many people they don't want to do it because it takes moving in the essence and confronting yourself on things that need to be confronted within you. So you are known in the field, and you are here now to manifest a life outside the confines of lower controlled energy and inside the infinite realm of being divinely human. That is, as above, so below. It's a constant movement of energy as you tune into your intuition, and your intuition leads and guides you in how to manifest your life. You're not cut off. You're not orphaned. You're not knowing what you do, but neither are you scripted by any entity or by any form that tells you you have to conform to the box that they lay out for you. So what does this mean to be me? Anytime I apprehend a spiritual truth, anytime I believe something, it has to flow through my life personally. It's not general. How do I make this truth flow through my life in a personal way? How do I do that? Well, true spirituality for me, it's not a belief system. It's a life manifested in creativity and authenticity. This is what it means to be truly spiritual. You have arrived. You are the I am. You're not looking to go someplace. You're in time for such a time as this. So true spirituality is not based upon performance in any way. It's not responding to an altar call, but neither is it responding to constant 10-step plans on how to meditate and get free. If you're meant to go in those directions, your intuition will show you the way. Do you trust yourself? And do you know yourself? Because that's the foundation of everything that I'm speaking about. So true spirituality for me manifests in and through my intuitive directives. I've been doing this a long time, and sometimes I just hear something and I go with it. I'm not afraid of making a mistake. I'm not afraid of how I appear to other people, because you see, the potential in the field, when you tap into that as you, it has everything necessary to fulfill this dream or purpose within you. It's all within you. And it's like a father that says to you, I really want you to do this, or I really want you to go to college, knowing that he has all the money to pay for it. But when it comes time, he says, well, you find your own way. I just believe in you. No, everything comes with the dream, with the vision, the financial, the emotional, the spiritual, the directional. It all flows. All you have to do is take the first step, and you have to tune into those subtle nuances within you. So another thing that this belief does for me is that I realize that my life is not scripted according to that which is outside myself, but that which is in me. So I am to discover who I am. There is a field of potential waiting for me to discover. It's personal. I look around and I see how many times in my life I always compared myself to other people. And what that did is it knocked me off of my path because my vision changed, my perception changed from looking within to looking without. And it happens in many of us. So when I say I look within, I confront things within myself. If I'm triggered by something or if I see myself fearful, I ask where it came from. In my higher self, or however you want to define it, if I'm truly authentic in my heart, will show me. And then it's my responsibility, not a savior who promises to get me out of here. It is my responsibility to turn in that direction and to appropriate the love energy that's needed to heal, first for myself, in myself, and then for others. My life is not scripted, yet I lived in a script for many years. I lived according to what people were telling me or impressions I got, and there was a season in my life where I realized I wasn't really flowing as me. And so the harmony of where I am right now, I'm just going to do these for me. Sometimes you have to just live life for you. And when you appropriate that love that is needed, it flows in the direction and into people around you, family members, in the right way. And the energy changes around you and through you in powerful ways. So you can't live life scripted, which is always below the vibration of true freedom. This is built, as above, so below, is built on a vibrational reality that your energy, and when you're in resonance with your own heart, and it's called heart-brain coherence, you're going to connect with the field. And I tend to say this over and over because people seem to be stuck, either constantly always deconstructing or constantly always repeating the same narrative, but most of the time afraid to get in the boat and just launch out. Why is that? Are you afraid to be you? Do you not think it'll be accepted? Well, it may not be. Are you afraid to be led by your heart in your coherence? Are you afraid to be alone at times? Are you afraid to be an outcast for a while until you find yourself? Well, that may or may not, all those things happen to you. But there will be a joy flowing. There will be a contentment and a peace flowing when you really realize who you are. And that is a journey of discovery. So another thing I realized is that this thought came to me. It was kind of a funny thought. Even they seem to be trapped inside themselves through grief or loneliness or fear. So they do drugs, they drink a lot, and then they dance on tables, they get a little wild and crazy. Well, why not forego all the external realities that try to perpetrate your body, your soul, and your spirit, and why not just get a little crazy now? Why not defy people's objections about you? Why not live up to their standards? What if sometimes to find yourself, you have to go a little bit all the way out and then get pulled to center? That is what I experienced in my life. I had to go get angry until I was pulled into harmony. I had to realize I am who I am, which people left me for. And I had to realize that I'm more than that. And I came back to center, knowing that whatever my purpose is, and I know that it's to show that you are divinely human, that maybe it's for some people in the future rather than now. And I'm not going to stop to do it. So another thing that this principle shows me, as above, so below, is that there's this verse, and I don't usually refer to Bible verses. So if you're watching this and it turns you off, just listen, okay? Listen to this, because these verses come to me. I don't read regularly, or I got rid of all those books and just kept a few. There's a verse that says, "For with God nothing is ever impossible, and no word from God shall be without power or impossible of fulfillment. So let's translate that. As above, so below. Now, if you're in a religious perception, how you're seeing that is, I have to go to the altar and I have to beg and I have to plead. But I'm not there anymore, and I have no intention of going back. But what if I really look at God within me, and I know that within me, that whatever my intuitive self is leading me into, that nothing is impossible, that all the power and the fulfillment is resident as I stay on my path of authenticity. Again, I'm going to ask you, do you know who you are? Do you know who you are? So manifestation doesn't flow from ego. It flows from the heart. And sometimes you're not aware of your heart, or I'm not aware of my heart, because my heart is true, it's authentic, and it's real. And it's so much easier to stay in a system whereby I just conform and I never stand out and I play the game and live life according to the script. But it is time to continually break out of that. Manifestation is not materialism or that which can be seen, but flows from the essence of who I am. Now, let's say when I believe I was told to go to Finland, I had to believe that if I was really being told years ago to step out according to my intuition and go to Finland, that I wasn't going to be lacking in anything if the universe itself was telling me to go. The finances would come, the direction would come, but it would not come until I stepped out, which I do. As a travel scribe, I'm coming more and more to my identity of helping you rise, and sometimes that's going to be going to different locations. But I had to take a step. And we don't focus on manifestation just being materialistic. Manifestation, first and foremost, flows through the heart awareness of who you are and why you're here right now. And it's time to discover that. Because as the world gets more confusing and as timelines begin to shift and as everything chaotic is going on and there's no savior coming, whether in the realm of religion or in the realm of political government. It's a uniparty, folks. There's no political savior that is coming. Yes, certain people may help more than other people, but we're not to look outside ourselves when everything we have is within. So in intuitive flow, once you tap in, as above, so below, there is potential, there are directives, there are synchronicities waiting to happen. As above, so below. There is a oneness in that. You're not split. You're not separate. You're the same energy that is connecting internally with a higher self. You call it spirit. You call it in God, however you call it. But you're connecting with that through an intuition flow. It's not coming through a 3D reality. Everything is predictable in a 3D reality. We live in this realm. I know that if I go to my car and start my car, if I don't have gas, it's not going to start. I know that there's certain things that are just given facts. But what about interjecting into our day on how to maneuver in this 3D reality that gives it life and gives its breath and gives its expansion? That is where I am right now, and it is a glorious place. So intuitive flow, it is all that is needed to fulfill the vision. You're perfect and you're abundant. And to realize that, it goes beyond words. It goes beyond the mantra. Because you have to not only say it, you have to believe it. And perhaps you need to say it in order to believe it. So we've been taught to believe that we need what is outside of ourselves, coming from someone or somewhere. No intuitive message flows without the power of fulfillment. So how to end this? As above, so below is a basic quantum principle. It says that everything's entangled. There's no separation in anything. How can there be a separation in anything when the divine mind, in the beauty of consciousness, formed the fundamental aspects of the universe? There's no separation. Maybe I am of a higher awareness, but the same entity that perhaps created the beauty of the ocean also created me. Is that more God than me? Well, yeah, in certain ways. No, it's not. But it is still the beauty in which I live in this reality. I have been entangled with the power of authenticity. So, what am I trying to say? I'm personally tired of people living below their manifestation. It seems like within the past year, all I can think about is words, words, words. I'm so sick of words. There was a song back in the day from the original My Fair Lady where she sang, words, words, words. I'm so sick of words. I get words every day, first from him, then from you. Is that all you want me to do? So words, because of technology, because of social media, it's constantly words. But what about when you leave it? What are you doing with your life? How are you manifesting your life? I can't say it any simpler than that. It is time to manifest life according to as above, so below. It's really simple. It's not complex. So the purpose of this video is to stir in you perhaps a bit of people, they don't want to listen. I see them get on and off. That's okay. They feel that they've heard everything before. But is their life manifesting that? Are they happy? Are they at peace in their life? If they are, that's good. Because sometimes we need to hear things over and over till they entangle and join our subconscious and our consciousness to live, move, and have our being in this realm through divine healing and manifestation right now. I hope you all have a good day.